Okay. Welcome to another super fast lightning strikes twice. We have a topic apiece, 5 minutes to discuss, and it's your turn, I think, Casey.
All right. I'm here in the kitchen sink. And it is time to go into the first topic, which is what do you think about shoplifting food?
Ooh, man. Well, I mean, shoplifting in general is on the rise in the U.S. I know that. Um, if it's a small amount, like say there's a stand somewhere and one person just grabs an apple or something, like it's probably not consequential. But then again, if you're on a busy street and everybody that walked by grabbed an apple, then well, there wouldn't be any apples left to sell. I think there are definitely situations if if you have the means, you should buy things.
Right.
Um,
And I think that's
Obviously.
how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, like the slippery slope if everyone stole an apple. Well, I mean, that could happen now, but it doesn't. If people can pay, they do pay. But when it comes to like being hungry, if you go into a store and like put a loaf of bread in your jacket, like, should you really come down hard on that person or at all?
Well, and I
Um,
would say no. I mean, if somebody doesn't have the money, now, granted, in most of the US, there are resources where you can go and get free food assistance, churches and food banks and things like that. I mean, there really isn't, it depends on where you are. But
it's not always easy either.
no. I mean, I would say, like you said, a loaf of bread, probably. But then again, there's solutions we could create for those kinds of situations. So as you know how when you go into say like a pet store, they're like, hey, do you want to donate $2 to help pets or something like that? Or every time I buy Domino's, the cancer kids come up and like, hey, do you want to donate to St. Jude's? And of course, every time I do, because I'm a sucker for that, like maybe there should be like you go to Safeway and they're like, hey, do you want to round up or donate a little bit towards this little um, you know collection of food items that we can give away to people in need? Like I think most people would be like, yeah, go ahead, you
Hmm,
know.
yeah.
And then the store could have a place where somebody that doesn't have the means could come and grab a loaf of bread or a can of soup or an apple or whatever. um, I think there is no one solution to things like that, to hunger and poverty. It's going to take a lot of community effort to help solve that, and that would go, that's just one extra tool in the toolbox as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I mean, these stores can write this stuff off. So it's not even like a big deal for them. What really got me thinking about this, well, a couple things. I saw like a meme today. It said, "Remember, kids, if you see someone shoplifting food, no, you didn't." And I started thinking, like, like ethically speaking, like that is a pretty small like crime compared to like the crime of us letting society be in such a state that people are actually starving. Like
Yeah, no,
in
you're
the
right.
US, that should not be a thing.
No,
And
there's
so
more than
here,
we have. Well, and actually, you are totally correct in that we have so much excess when it comes to food. And we did an episode about food waste, and that's the thing. Stores
Mhm.
are required. I've seen videos of people in grocery stores throwing away just cartons of perfectly good food just because it's like past the date or whatever. Like, you know what? That stuff is still edible. It's still perfectly fine. It's just like maybe we should expand the rules a little bit to allow for that. So it's like the store could have last week's loaves of bread that are still edible, but like people aren't buying them and they're about to throw them away. So we'll put it in the back of the store and people can just come and grab stuff. Like that's actually a perfect solution because it's like,
Yeah.
hey, most people that are shopping in a store and buying things are going to be picky enough. They're like, oh, I don't want to buy that one. But like hungry people who don't have, homeless people or whatever, yeah, they're going to be all over that. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a win-win.
Well, and the other thing that got me thinking about this was last night we were doing a little quick grocery shopping, and there was a guy, um, very tall, very big. Um, he really stuck out, like not your typical person
Yeah.
walking through the store. And I guess he put some food in his pocket and tried to leave.
Oh,
Oh,
well, go ahead and finish the story.
well, and they stopped him, and they were just kind of like talking to him and saying, he was like, it's just food. And they're like, yeah, but I mean, it's still shoplifting. And my wife was telling me that in Germany, they kind of treat shoplifting food a little less harshly than other things. And
I
I was
think
like,
that's
that's kind of a
reasonable.
cool idea. Like,
It makes sense because it's like, okay, if you're shoplifting electronics or something, okay, that's not necessary for
right.
your survival. Um, but food and water or something, yeah.
Mm, I mean, if you don't have the newest iPhone, can you really survive?
Some people can't. I mean, we did a video recently talking about how kids were writing into their Congress people telling them if they ban TikTok, they're going to kill themselves. You know, like, I mean, I guess TikTok's more important than your own life.
Uh,
All right, well, we'll go on to my topic, which ought to be a pretty good one. So this is kind of a politics related thing. If you don't vote, you can't complain.
uh, oh man, I hate that saying.
And
Like,
I was guilty of thinking that way many years ago, but yeah, obviously I don't now.
yeah, I mean, like, you don't have a say in a lot of things, and people don't come down on you for complaining about that. So if you like, I mean, even if you have a say in something and it doesn't go your way, like your complaining is just as annoying to people. So like who gets to be the arbiter of when you can or cannot complain? Fuck that, Like,
Mm-hmm.
like
Well,
if you're
especially
dissatisfied, talk about it, get it off your
well,
chest. There's nothing
yeah,
wrong with that.
and when it comes to like an initiative or something, it's like okay, it either happens or it doesn't. But like politicians, when there's in the US there's basically two choices and they both suck. So you can pick some of the third party candidates, but very rarely do they ever win an election. So it's like what it's the same thing where people say it's like, oh, what is it? The lesser of two evils, right? Oh, well, I got to
Mhm.
vote for this guy because the other guy is worse. Well, it's like, yeah, but that guy sucks too. I mean, it's like, and that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you can vote, but I I don't know. Like I used to vote and I don't now, and because like really, no matter what you do, things are just going to go the way they go. Remember $30 tabs in Washington State? People have
I
voted that in multiple times, and we don't have $30 tabs.
Yeah. I was planning to, 'cause I think I'm still allowed to vote. I'm still a citizen,
Mm-hmm.
even if I live in Germany. And
Yeah.
by the time I got my ballot, it was like 2 days too late. Um, but I was kind of discouraged about that because I had this really good idea. Once I looked at it, it was like it was one of those things for the presidential primaries where you had to pick if you were going to vote Democrat or Republican, and that was like it.
Oh
And
God.
and I
Oh.
was like, wait, if they're gonna do that, everybody that is scared of Trump maybe winning again should register as Republican and vote for somebody else to get the nomination.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and like pick one dude and everybody just throws all their votes at him so Trump doesn't even get on the ballot. Like I was like, that would be so cool to do, but I missed the mark.
Uh, I can't stand that whole like pick a party thing where it's like, oh, you have to vote. It's kind of assuming like people are just bipolar, right? It's like it's either red or you're either on the red team or the blue team. You can't be somewhere in between or picking based on merit. or something
It's not
like
only
that.
assuming, it's forcing you.
Yeah,
Like there are no third party options
no,
listed there. And
no, no. I mean, yeah, I think I did a minute microscopy about that a while back, where I had that. I got one of those primary things, and it's basically that. It's like, well, where's all the other candidates, the other parties? It's stupid because the thing is, like, yeah, okay, there are some differences between the red team and the blue team, but effectively they kind of work in the same general direction. And so, like, no matter what, yeah, so it's like, okay, yeah, I could vote like libertarian or green party or something like that, but then it doesn't have any effect because it probably won't. And then I vote for any of the blue team or the red team, and like shit stays the same or gets worse, probably getting worse.
yeah.
And so, like, what's the point?
And we
And
did
so
an
I feel,
episode on the Bernie blackout, like
yeah, yeah,
they
exactly,
basically take any means, including like manipulating the media,
yeah,
to basically direct the election in whichever way they want it to go.
totally, yeah. And that's why I feel like the best way to affect change is not to vote, but to be involved in the community and change hearts and minds, and just do it ourselves, essentially.
You
I
just
think
call me an
that
asshole.
I mean, but it makes more sense. You can actually affect change just by your voice and making a compelling argument and things like that. But just checking a checkbox, like, come on, you really think these assholes care about us and have our interests in mind? No, no, they don't care. Oh, damn, mic drop moment.
My voice can change the world. I can change the world. Remember that song?
Yeah, that's a great song.
Eric Clapton.
Yeah. Oh man. And well, that's the thing. Music absolutely can make a difference. Man, well, that was
Music like
good.
the stuff that we write and put at the end of our full length episodes, which you should totally check out in a couple days when it
Mm-hmm.
premieres.
Yep. Well, until then, I don't know. Leave us some comments down there. Tell us what you think about these two topics, and have a great day or night, everybody.